Hey, what's up, guys? I know it's been a while since I've made a video, but today I want to cover um, a cryptocurrency, believe it or not. And the thing is I'm not really a big fan of cryptocurrency because, let's be honest, most cryptocurrencies are shit coins that people, for some reason, get the idea that are stocks rather than actual forms of currency. You know, you're always hearing about the next coin. Oh, we're gonna hodl and go to the moon. We're gonna get rich off these shit coins. Well, truth is, most cryptocurrencies are exit scams. But there is one cryptocurrency that I'm a big fan of, and that is Monero. So, what is Monero? Monero is a private, decentralized cryptocurrency that keeps your finances confidential and secure, and yada yada yada. Basically, it's a cryptocurrency that tries to serve the purpose that Bitcoin tried to serve originally, which was being private and anonymous. Well, the problem is that Bitcoin is neither private nor anonymous. First off, you have the public ledger, which literally the entire world can see, and also you have the seeds and addresses pretty much all being visible. Therefore, if you made one little mistake, one little OPSEC mistake, then you could potentially de-anonymize yourself, and no matter what your transactions are, people could figure out what went where. And Monero tries to absolve that. It has a public ledger, but it has separate keys for sending and receiving money. They used to have custom ring sizes, but I believe they're all a standard ring size of 15 now. So I like Monero. I have a fair bit of Monero on stock, but it's not even. This video is not about why you should use Monero. This video is about mining Monero. So I'm actually recording this video on my laptop right now, and the reason why is because I don't feel like turning off my miner on my desktop. But I've actually got a few machines that I use to mine Monero. And I know what you're probably thinking, like, mining, like, why would I do that? Like, you don't remember the whole GPU crisis we went back through a couple years ago with cryptocurrency mining? Well, good news is that Monero actually kind of sucks mining with GPUs. You can mine them with graphics cards, but it's intended for you to mine this with a CPU. And really, to be honest with you, like, a Core 2 Duo is probably going to get a better hash rate than even my 6900 XT, which gets blazing hot if I tried to mine Monero with it. It's just not worth it. Like, maybe like 2500 hashes per second. It's absolutely horrible. The power usage is also astronomical. But it's also ASIC resistant, which I believe it says that somewhere around here. There you go, mining. So it's uses RandomX, which is ASIC resistant, which means it's impossible to build specialized hardware to mine Monero. Miners must use consumer grade hardware and compete fairly. Now, what does it necessarily mean by consumer grade hardware? It's not exactly consumer grade hardware. You can obviously use enterprise equipment, but really the best terminology they should have used is they should have just stopped right at specialized hardware. You know, if you're using Intel Xeons or AMD Threadrippers, those are hardly consumer grade hardware, and they are still among the best when it comes to mining. But even with, you know, like my 5900Xs, I can still get a pretty decent hash rate. Between the two of those, I get probably about 30,000 hashes alone, and those aren't even my only machines that I mine on. So first things first is you're going to, if you want to get started, you want to get a wallet. So we'll go here to the download section. You can get the Monero GUI wallet. They have a Windows installer, Mac installer. They have a Linux installer, though if you're using Linux, you obviously should just get it from your repos. I'm going to show you hold on. That was me messing around with my settings. You can use the CLI wallet too if you want, but I just use the GUI wallet. So you'll open up your wallet and you'll make a seed. You'll make a wallet. You'll make an address and all that. It's really a simple, straightforward process. You can choose, and keep in mind what this choice here is important because it what kind of mining you're going to do is kind of dependent on it. Now, you can do any kind of mining you want, but you have the choice between either running a remote node or using a local node. If you use a local node, you will have to download the blockchain to your computer, which it provides higher security and requires more local storage. It'll take longer to sync, especially if you're not running your node 24/7. So if you're using this on a laptop, I wouldn't recommend necessarily running a local node. But if you're going to be, of course, if you shouldn't be mining on a laptop to begin with, right? But if you are mining on your desktop, you might as well run a local node. I only use a remote node on my phone and my laptop because, you know, it would take forever to actually access my wallet. So if you want to do P2P mining, you can actually do it from here. P2Pool, which is kind of like a side chain to the Monero blockchain that allows you to basically solo mine with friends. So this is actually the best method if you're not so what would you call it? If you're not so bent on making money, if you care more about strengthening the Monero network, this would actually be the best method to go. I wouldn't recommend solo mining because you'll be grinding gears and getting nothing out of it. You know, going for the lottery, so to speak. It's pretty cool that they have this built into the wallet because you can configure this a lot easier, and if you can actually use this to mine without using all of your resources. Typically, if you're using XMRig, which is what I'm going to show you in this video, if you use XMRig, you're probably going to be using all your threads. You don't have to, but it's a lot harder to configure XMRig to not use all your threads. So if you're wanting to just do P2Pool, you're not caring about making a ton of money or anything like that, but you'll still make some money, especially if you go and do the P2Pool lottery, then you actually do have some potential to make some pretty decent money. But if you care just about strengthening the Monero network and don't care so much about making money, then P2Pool is a pretty good way to do that, especially with these threads. And I also, if you're doing P2Pool and not caring so much about making money, just use half your threads so you can actually use your computer. You have two chains here. You have the mini chain and the main chain. Most of you are going to probably not want to use the main chain. You're not going to make no money off that unless you're pumping out about, I want to say, at least 20,000 hashes a second. And unless you're running a Threadripper or something like that, like even the 7950X 3D probably doesn't get 20k hashes a second right now. That's a really hard number to push. If you're running a couple machines though, then you may want to look into running on the main. You'll get a payout every day. You'll make more money with it, and it's even better for strengthening the Monero network. But most people will be fine on the mini chain. All right, so now that you have a Monero wallet set up, we're going to want to set up XMRig. So first thing we're going to want to do is we'll go ahead and copy this to our clipboard, and then we're going to load up a terminal. And we're going to download XMRig, which I've already got downloaded. I'm not going to be re-downloading it. Once we do that, we are going to go to the XMRig wizard. So we'll go to xmrig.com, and just a heads up, I had trouble. You notice I have this load up in Chromium. I actually had trouble properly loading this website in Firefox. So I would probably download ungoogled Chromium or something like that. Though I have a hardened instance of Firefox, so it may just be me. But, well, actually, I think I had trouble loading it up on my phone too. We'll go to the wizard here, and we'll click Create a New Configuration. We'll do a custom pool. You can do one of the pre-made pools here. I actually prefer to go with Monero Ocean. So we'll go to Monero Ocean. We'll do pool gulf moneroocean.stream, so we'll add that to the host. We will add the port number. I don't really care to do SSL. We're going to do keep alive on, and if you're a sane person, you will use NiceHash. So now we've got that. We need to add our wallet address, so we'll go back here, click copy. This is your receive wallet, so you're not sending funds with this. You're just receiving funds. So we'll copy that in there, and look how long it is if you're not familiar with these. It's not even the longest one. If you're doing, so we're gonna do just Monero, but if you're doing just Monero, you're pretty much only gonna be able to do RandomX. Monero forks can use other algorithms, but RandomX is really the best one too. I haven't gotten a better hash rate on anything else besides RandomX, which is going to be that RX/0. And you can add more pools, you can add proxies. I don't run enough miners that I think an extra proxy is necessary, or an actual proxy is necessary. You can do a daemon. I don't do that. What I do, well, and daemons are for solo mining anyways, but what I do is I actually have a service set up for it. We're going to do the donate to 1 because that's the default, and we're donating our bandwidth to the Monero network anyways. That's enough donation in my opinion. And then at the end of it, you will get 2 options here. So you can either do this config file, which I actually do. I do the config, or you can run it from the command line. These both do the same exact thing. I'm going to do a config file. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to copy this. And there's another reason why I don't do this, and this is because this is assuming that you're running a script for what you built yourself. But since we're not, that we're running something off the AUR, we're going to make a config file. So I've already got one made, so we're going to type in vim.xmrig.json. And mine's quite a bit bigger than this, and that's because it's going to add things to your config after you run it for the first time. But keep in mind though that this is going to be more of a backup for our config, because what we're going to want to do after that is run sudo cp.xmrig.json and then type in /root/. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want to run this as root, because we want to get the MSR mod, which is going to make our hash rate go up way higher, so that, you know, and it's not even just about the hash rate, it's getting more bang for your buck, because you're going to get a higher hash rate for the same amount of power. Your hash rate is going to be way lower without the MSR mod. Then what we're going to do is we're going to run sudo xmrig. And I think I'm actually running Monero hash right now, so I think, and I don't like those guys. They have somewhat crappy rules, so I guess I will go ahead and copy it. There you go. And you can check your hash rate with H. You can pause or resume with P and R respectively. You can do results with S. You can do your connection with C, but really the most important thing here is going to be your hash rate. So I'm not going to be making a huge hash rate here because I'm on my laptop. And despite how powerful my laptop may be, it's still a laptop at the end of the day. This thing is thermally constrained. You can see I'm getting 90 degrees up here. And if you're running on your desktop, if you're going to be running this 24/7, you don't need to You do not need to be having it 90 degrees. You probably might need to really not even downclock. You should undervolt. And another thing too, I will tell you, is that RandomX is very dependent on. It's very dependent on RAM timings. So if you are, well, also my hash rate's probably down because I'm also recording right now too. You see my temp rate's still going up to 90 because I'm using my GPU. But it's very dependent on RAM timing. So the faster your RAM is, the better your hash rate's going to be. It's not so much about your CPU clock, though that does help. The RAM timings are way more important. Like if you have fast RAM, you're going to get a better hash rate. So definitely look into overclocking your memory, which, you know, most laptops aren't going to be able to do. That's another reason why I say don't bother doing this on your laptop. Do this on your desktop. Even if you want a game or something like that, if you can handle doing it on your laptop, probably do it on your laptop, unless you absolutely just need like maximum graphical fidelity or something like that. I'm assuming a lot of you probably have laptops that you can game on. I mean, I don't mind 24/7 on my desktop neither, especially my other machines, but let me just show you how much. Hold on. Let me copy my wallet, because I mine on Monero Ocean, which I think is the best pool that's not P2 pool. So I'm running this right now on, I want to say, 4 machines, 2 5900Xs, 1 5800X, and 1 server with 2 E5 2983s V3s, and I'm getting a raw hash rate of about 4100. That's a give or take. It's not 100% accurate. What's really important is your pay hash rate here, which is that's how much you're getting paid for, and that's determined based off both the block effort and your raw hash rate. So if you look at this will average out for it itself. This is about how much you'll make a day. If you want to determine, and really, to be honest with you, as long as you're mining with a CPU, mining Monero is always going to be profitable. But you should check into, you should look into how much power costs in your area before you start doing this, so that you don't waste money. But it's a nice way to get a little bit of extra Monero in your wallet and help strengthen the network. And also, if you transfer, you know, actual fiat to your Monero wallet, since you won't have to transfer so much, you can kind of get by with less fees. So I recommend using something like local Monero or Monero Market to get a hold of Monero, rather than going through like an exchange or something like that if you're trying to get like a ton of it. But anyways, I hope you liked this video. Let me know if you decided that if you want to start mining Monero down in the comments below. I hope to see y'all guys in the next one. And for those of you who are sticking around, I just want to say I am sorry that I have not been making a whole lot of videos lately. I've been extremely busy. I just got back. I was actually intending on making this video before, like about a week ago. But we've been having crunch time at work. We've recently moved over our pay schedule to corporate, so corporate's working on all of our pay now rather than our local branch of where I work at. And that was extremely stressful, trying to get all that done at pretty much, like, because I had a week to do it. Like, it needed to be done in a week, but I only had 3 days to do it. And the reason why is this past weekend I went to Atlanta for my contest for FBLA. I know if some of y'all may remember that I was telling y'all I got first place for both my categories in my state, which was cybersecurity and network design. Well, I am pleased to announce to you guys that I am second best in the country for this year for both of those categories, network design and cybersecurity. I've got a picture of it here. As for the trip, it was alright. I will say that Atlanta is one of the most unpleasant cities I think I've ever spent any amount of time in. The traffic is atrocious. Everybody drives like it's NASCAR, and when I say like NASCAR, like we're talking about the recklessness, not just the speed on, you know, the motorways, which I think is pretty essential of getting around. I got to go to Micro Center and build out another one of my PCs I've been wanting to build out for a while. I got to go to World of Coke, which was pretty cool. I don't have any pictures from that, though. We got to eat a whole bunch of cool food, hang out with my classmates, who were also my buddies. Otherwise, it was a good trip, though, for the most part. I got to listen to some good music. The techno scene is not so great there, but they do have a decent trance scene. They also have a pretty big tech house scene. I'm not real big in the tech house, but it's better than nothing, though. But yeah, hopefully it's, first off, those look very good on the resume. I hope they bring me even better opportunities in the future, because honestly, I feel like the state, well, not certifications, these state awards that I got were one of the things that helped me even get the position I'm in right now, which I'm making a pretty decent chunk of change. And hopefully these national awards will help me get something even better than that in the future.